Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your continued support. Right, so disabled people have a huge amount to deal with, not just in their everyday lives with their conditions and things like this, but also with external problems as well. Now, of course, I've spoken in length on this channel about the DWP and about the role that they play in causing stress and all kinds of other feelings with people who are disabled. But there's another thing now which is causing a huge amount of problems to one person in particular, and that is local councils finding adequate housing for people with disabilities. Now, we know that obviously there's not a huge amount of social housing around. Of course, we know all about that, but the many of these councils are now having trouble trying to give disabled people access to housing which they can actually use. And there's one lady in particular which I'm going to be talking about now who is facing real problems because of it, because of the lack of suitable accommodation for her because of her disability. So let's take a look at it and I'll show you what I mean. Here we are. Crystal, 30, has spinal muscular atrophy and uses a wheelchair. She needs around the clock care as well as home adaptations such as a bed hoist, a wet room to live comfortably. Several months after being evicted in 2021 and following a really awful period in inappropriate housing, she managed to find somewhere to rent in a different town where she now lives. It has never been the ideal home. The temporary ramps are a struggle, but it was better than the alternatives suggested by her council, including moving her live-in care team and equipment into a one-bedroom in an elderly dementia care home. So unsuitable. 4 years on, she's being evicted again. Crystal is one of 70,000 households with a physical disability in England now facing homelessness. Her landlord wants to redevelop the home she lives in and has issued a no-fault eviction notice which has progressed to a court repossession order. Now she is waiting for the bailiffs to arrive. It just never ended. It's not ended 4 years later. I still can't even think about building a career or giving back to anybody because I'm so consumed with it, Crystal told Sky News. At this moment in time, I have no idea where I'm going to go. For anybody, a bailiff knocking on your door is scary, but when you've got fundamental pieces of equipment that cannot live without, it's even scarier. Crystal's experience is not unique. Among households who approached their local council for homelessness assistance in the latest year, 1 in 5 had physical ill health and disability support needs. It's a growing issue. There were nearly 70,000 such households in 24-25, up from 40,000 4 years earlier, according to Sky News analysts of government data. It represents a 72% increase and more than 3 times the 20% rise in the overall number of households seeking homelessness support. The number of homeless or at-risk households with physical disability support need increased more than any other demographic over the period. They now represent 21% of households, up from 13% in 2020-2021. Sky News housing campaigner Kwayo Atwayabua said freedom of information requests to English councils asking how many people are waiting for accessible social housing and how long they wait on average. Their responses reveal a troubling lack of understanding of accessible housing needs in their areas. 2 in 3 couldn't say how many people with disabilities are waiting, while 4 in 5 weren't able to estimate how long they could expect to wait. And I think this is just another one of those problems which people who don't have physical disabilities or even psychological disabilities, those people just don't understand the extra problems that come along with that. I mean, you have to have additional adaptations, or you have to have a certain type of house in order to get around. For example, my brother-in-law, I should say, has MS. He's now in a wheelchair, and in their house they had to have the doors widened because his wheelchair couldn't get through the doors. It's things like this that a lot of people just don't understand is a need. And if this particular lady that I spoke about, she's privately renting. She's now the subject of a no-fault eviction, which is absolutely ridiculous, and it means that she's now got to find another place to live. The councils aren't helping, and and I know there's a huge demand out there. 70,000 people with some kind of physical disability looking for homes is a huge amount, but I just don't think that the government or local councils are really doing enough to try and make this right. And of course, when you've also got the government saying we want more disabled people to go to work, well, if a lot of them are now becoming homeless, that's going to be even more difficult. So it's one of those things where they don't fix the problems associated with not working. I mean, obviously a lot of people have physical reasons why they can't work, but also if they're having issues with their housing, it puts additional stress on them, and you know, it just causes a whole snowball effect. So I'm not entirely surprised that this is happening, because it's, you know, the government and the councils are just not aware of these things whatsoever. But let me know down in the comment section what you think about this, of course. If you've been in a similar situation yourself, let me know down in the comment section if you want to, of course. Or you can email me. I'll leave my email address at the bottom here if you want to talk about that, or if you want to send me anything that you think I should talk about, please do so. But please do subscribe if you've got this far, to help the channel move along even more. I'll see you next time.